Which Minnesota Vikings going to break out this year? Well, I got a name for you. Stick around and find out. Welcome to Minnesota Sports Talk. You can follow me on Twitter at SkullWorld and at MN Sports Podcast. You can even follow me on Facebook on SkullWorld. Now, if you could, go down below, click like, click subscribe, leave a comment. I want to hear who you think is going to have a breakout season, and ring the bell so you don't miss a show. Now, let's get started. I'm going to be up front with you folks. This is a little bit of a diss track. Well, my counterpart in crime on Skull Live, MC Rap from Purple Pocket Podcast, where you can watch us go live about 2 or 3 times a week, said that he was overlooking, in not his exact words, Jaylen Twyman, and that is who I'm going to talk about. I brought him up a couple of times, how I thought he was going to have a breakout season, and I never did a video of it. So I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and talk about Jaylen Twyman, why I think he's going to be a breakout player for the Vikings. Now, when he went from high school, he wanted to go to Pitt because his favorite player, Aaron Donald, went there. He idolized Aaron Donald. And then he had a good freshman year, and then he broke out his sophomore year. And I believe it was 12 tackle for losses and 10.5 sacks in his sophomore campaign. Now, comparing that to... I'm having a little bit of a... There we go. Now, comparing that to Aaron Donald, his sophomore year at Pitt in 2011, played in 13 games. He had 11 sacks, so a half sack more, and 16 tackles for losses. So, that's comparable. And then he followed that up with 5.5 sacks and then finished his senior year with 11, but 28.5 tackles for losses. So, he's a freak of nature. Now, what do we know? What would have happened if Jaylen Twyman stayed for 4 years at Pittsburgh? What would he have done? Probably not as good as Aaron Donald, but that is what he was aiming for. He wanted to reenact Aaron Donald's career. He left as a sophomore. He left after his sophomore year because of COVID. He decided to opt out, take advantage of that, so then he could enter the draft after the COVID season. He could spend his year preparing for it. Well, he unfortunately got some bad advice, because going into the combine, he was a second-round talent. Now, if I had my podcast back then, I would have been saying he was the Vikings steal the draft, much like I'm saying Jalen Naylor is the steal of the Vikings draft. And my thought process is that he would have been a third-round pick, I think, if he played healthy and all the way through college, or even played every game his senior year. He missed like 4 games because of a hand injury. That he would have been drafted in the 3rd round if 2 things happened. He wasn't hurt in his career, kind of like Diggs falling to the 5th round, and if it wasn't such a deep receiver draft. Now, that's the same way I felt back with Jaylen Twyman, except for he had a terrible combine when it came to speed. He ran a 5.35. He had terrible advice where he put on all this weight. Now, yeah, he tried to bulk up because he was going to play the defensive tackle position. He was known more of a pass rusher at the tackle position. So he wanted to bulk up, show his strength, prove that he could, take up double teams and be a all-around defensive tackle. Well, that hurt him. He showed up. He had pretty lousy speed number, 5.35 on the 40. Now, here's where he shined. He had 40 reps on the bench. Aaron Donald, 35. Why am I comparing? Well, he's the latest news of him signing his 2-year, $60 million contract. And it just so happens Aaron Twyman idolizes this guy. So, in comparison, Twyman had a 40 rep bench compared to Aaron Donald's 35. So just to give you a comparison in strength, they both about the same weight, like 285 at defensive tackle. So the size comparison's there. Where it differs, and it's a big differ, is the 40 time. Aaron Donald ran a 4.65 and was a freak at the combine. However, there's some measurables that show Twyman has a good burst, and that is the fact that he has a 32-inch vertical for a 285-pound guy. Now, his speed number wasn't there, but his explosive numbers were there, and he had a decent broad jump. So Twyman's coming in as an athlete. He was known more for his pass rush, which I feel will fit in great in our 3-4 defense. And even ESPN had him listed as starter at defensive end. I think he could play D tackle or defensive end, depending on the down. And I do believe he's got the moves, elusiveness to have a decent pass rush in the NFL. We don't know yet. He was still pretty raw as a sophomore, but sitting a year out of the league, or not playing football, and then getting shot 4 times, he's coming back hungry, but he got a lot of practice. He got to absorb a lot of things, and he's learned a lot about taking care of his body, especially since he was at the mismanaged going into the combine. So there's a lot of good things about Jaylen Twyman that we just don't know yet. But if it's anything like his sophomore year in college, we got a steal in that draft. He was expected to be a second-round pick. We got him in the 6th. I'm looking forward to seeing Twyman on the field. ESPN, again, has him starting for us on defense. Do I think that's going to happen? I think he's going to sit a little bit, but he's going to come in and play a lot. We're going to have a very deep rotation. Nobody stands out, but if anybody could stand out, I'm picking Jaylen Twyman to break out, be the face of that interior line. If not this year, next year. We'll see. Now, I'm putting my money on the line. Take that, MC Rap. Test me again on Jaylen Twyman or anybody else I like. I'm going to do a diss video about you. All kidding aside, I can't wait to go live again. I think we're going live on Wednesday. Me and Purple Pocket Podcast. I look forward to it every time. Thanks, guys, for listening and sticking with me and asking questions. I want to hear your comments below, who you think's going to break out. Ask and tell me to do a video on them. I'll do it. No problems. Again, this is Dave with Minnesota Sports Talk. Click like, click subscribe, leave a comment, and ring the bell so you don't miss a show. See you next time.